Once upon a time, in the heart of the Celtic lands, where the mists clung to the ancient oaks and rivers sparkled like silver under the moonlight, there lived a wise woman named Ethne. She was the last of her kind, a priestess who served the triple goddess, the most revered deity in all of the Celtic realm. The people came to her for guidance, for they knew that through Ethne, the maiden, the mother, and the crone would speak. Ethne had seen many seasons come and go, and she knew the stories of the goddess by heart. One evening, as the village gathered around the sacred fire under a full moon, she began to tell the tale of the triple goddess and her eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. In the days of old, before the world had hardened, the maiden walked the earth in her youthful beauty. Her name was Niamh, and she was as light as the first breeze of spring, her laughter the sound of rippling brooks. The flowers bloomed wherever she stepped, and animals followed her, drawn by her pure heart. Niamh represented new beginnings, the first stirrings of life. She wandered through forests and valleys, awakening the land from its long winter's sleep. But the maiden was not only a bringer of life, she was also the embodiment of curiosity and the search for one's path. It was said that young warriors and maidens would pray to her before embarking on great journeys or new adventures. One such warrior, a young man named Cian, sought her blessing. He knelt before her at dawn, asking for the courage to face his trials. In her kindness, Niamh touched his brow, filling him with strength and the promise of growth. With her blessing, Cian faced his challenges, knowing the maiden would guide him as he walked through the early days of his journey. As the world grew older and the sun rose higher, the maiden became the mother. Her name was Danu, and she was the goddess of abundance and fertility. Where Niamh had been playful and carefree, Danu was nurturing and wise, her presence like the full moon that lights the night with a gentle glow. Danu ruled over the lands as the mother of all living things. Fields of wheat ripened under her watchful eye, and children were born healthy and strong. She taught the people to tend the earth, to care for one another, and to create families and communities. The love she gave was boundless, and in return she was worshipped as the provider of life. In her time, a great famine threatened the Celtic lands, and the people cried out to Danu for help. Hearing their prayers, she sent the rains to nourish the dry fields and shared with the people the secrets of the earth's bounty. Under her guidance, the harvest was plentiful, and the people rejoiced, knowing they were safe in the arms of the mother. But the wheel of life never stops turning. As the years passed and the harvests came and went, Danu's hair turned white, and her skin bore the lines of age. She became the crone, the final aspect of the triple goddess, known as Morrigan. Her name sent shivers down the spines of those who feared death, but those who truly understood life knew that Morrigan was the keeper of wisdom and transformation. Morrigan was fierce, her eyes sharp like the cold winter winds, yet she held the knowledge of all things. She guided souls to the otherworld when their time on earth was done, reminding the living that death was not an end, but merely a transition to something new. For without death, there could be no rebirth. One evening, an old king lay dying in his castle. His kingdom had prospered under his reign, but he was filled with fear, not knowing what awaited him beyond the veil. He called out to the crone, begging for her wisdom. Morrigan appeared before him, cloaked in the shadows of the night. "Fear not," she whispered, her voice like the rustle of autumn leaves, "for as the moon wanes, it must also wax again. Just as the earth sleeps in winter, so too shall you awaken in a new spring." With these words, the king found peace, and as he passed from this world, he knew that Morrigan would guide him to the next. As Ethne finished her tale, the villagers sat in silence, reflecting on the mysteries of the triple goddess. They knew that the maiden, the mother, and the crone were not three separate beings, but three faces of the same goddess. Just as the moon moved through its phases, so too did life. There were times for new beginnings, times for nurturing and growth, and times for endings and reflection. The triple goddess was a reminder that life was an eternal cycle. Each phase brought its own lessons, its own joys, and its own challenges. The people gave thanks to the goddess in all her forms, knowing that she would be with them through every stage of their journey. And so, under the light of the full moon, the villagers celebrated the goddess, offering prayers for the maiden to guide the young, for the mother to nurture the harvest, and for the crone to grant wisdom to those nearing the end of their days. Eithne smiled as the fire crackled and the smoke rose into the night sky. The triple goddess would live on in their hearts, forever a part of the earth. The moon and the stars above,